this area here, I want to somehow get level, and probably with a board and some supports, just to flatten this hump here where the seats were, and then carpet it all the way back. Eventually, I had thought about getting, a custom subwoofer enclosure in the spare tire well, and running, 1 to 2 amps to power all the speakers in the subwoofer. But for time and expediency and money and, weight savings, I'm just going to put speakers in it, and kind of sort out some wiring while I'm in here, put it back together so that it can be back on the road and I can continue enjoying it. These are the speakers I got for the front and the rear. I got the Kicker CS Series 6x9s in the rear, and then the Kicker CS Series for the front. The fronts are rated at 300 watt max, 100 RMS. The rears are 450 watt max, 150 RMS. Right now they're going to be powered off the stock Pioneer upgraded amplifier, and then hopefully they sound good. These are 4 ohm speakers, and I believe the amp is running 2 ohm factory. I can't confirm that, but they're better than dry rotted 19-year-old blowed out speakers. And I don't know that I'm going to add a custom subwoofer and have a aftermarket amp just yet, but for the time being, with this project, here's what we're going to stick in here. So what started as pulling off some interior panels to try and find an airbag fault. I had a short to ground on the driver side curtain airbag deployment loop. So started taking apart some panels with the roll cage that's in the car. It makes it extremely difficult to access a lot of the interior panels. It prohibits you from doing a lot of things on the interior. So I started with pulling the back seats. And I know what you're thinking, Vaughn, if it's a race car and it's got a roll cage, why do you have back seats? Well, you can't use them anyway. It's a jungle gym to get back there, and it'd frankly be kind of dangerous to have one of my kids riding in the back of the car with the roll cage. With that said, I decided rear seat delete. Got all the components out here. While I'm not trying to save a ton of weight, it's more extraneous things that don't need to be in the car. While they do provide some sound deadening because of the cushioning, I think they more cause rattles and other things that I'm trying to sort out. But ultimately got all of the rear seat components out, the buckles, the releases, the latches, the bar, all the seat cushions, and it basically is going to save me probably 25 pounds. I'm going to go ahead and weigh all this stuff, and I'll give a summary there. While I was taking apart the rear deck, where the rear speakers that's shelved by the rear window, while I was disassembling that, I saw that my rear 6x9 speakers were completely shot. The rubber surround on them had cracked. I was able to get some new Kicker when I was putting in the head unit a while back, I went ahead and pre-wired everything as far as pulling the wire from front to back for a 4 or 6 or possibly even 8-channel amp to amplify all the speakers. And then I had all the sub cables that I had run to breakers, so circuit breakers to turn on and off power feed to a future amplifier. For the time being, I'm not going to get into that right now. I'm just going to put some new speakers in the car, reassemble all of the trim panels, with the exception of the rear seats and those components. I'm going to try and fab up here in the next month a little shelf to level out the rear seat area with the trunk, and then put some carpet back there, maybe some sound deadening material, but the other thing is I've been diving into this airbag issue. So one of the things here in the near future is going to be race seats with race harnesses, which will mean deleting the seat belts, deleting the airbags in terms of the side curtain airbags, and then trying to trick the computer into not throwing the seat belt or airbag on. One of the ways I'm going to do that, what I thought was pretty convenient, was trying to do what I did on the steering wheel replacement and use a resistor in place of the airbag. Now, to get to the side curtain airbags and to get to the seatbelt bolts for the front, as far as the driver and passenger fronts, I'm going to have to pull the cage. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to isolate the connector for the airbag that I have a fault with currently, which is the driver side curtain airbag. I'm going to try and do a resistor there to clear the fault so it thinks the airbag's all hunky-dory. But if I do have a short to ground, it's going to be in the cable that runs from under the dash to the rear deck. And in that cable is probably 32 other wires, and those all run right by the mounting pads for my roll cage. So if I have a short to ground and if I have a wire chafing, I need to sort that out. To prioritize what I'm doing here, because last night when I was taking the seats out, I started thinking, oh, well, I could do this and I could do that. The main thing is not to have the car torn apart for too long here. So I'm going to put speakers in it. I'm going to put back the rear deck. I'm going to put as much trim panels back on. I'm going to leave out the rear seats, the buckles, the harness bar, the pull releases. Rear seats are gone. And then I'm going to start sorting out some other wiring stuff. I'm going to sort out what I need to do to isolate seatbelt chimes and reminders and lights on the dash for when I do the racing seats. So I need to do racing seats. I need to do the harness. I want to do something with the trunk area so it's not bare metal, and to help fight against road vibrations. But I have a new concern, and that is the front suspension is shot. The car is coming up on 19 years old. It's been on Eibach sport lines for its entire life. I think I lowered the car with like 4,500 miles on it back in 2005. So we're talking about suspension that's seen its better days. The shocks and struts were replaced once along the way, but they were replaced with stock ultimately, I need to do something with the suspension. I was either going to try and resurrect the cursed coilovers, or I was going to try and save up and buy some really nice coilovers. I think for the time being, I'm going to get some Bilstein shocks and struts and some lowering springs. Most likely YYZ lowering springs. YYZs are not the lowest that I would even consider low. In fact, if anything, they ride closer to a stock trim height. The difference is, with the power the car is making, I need all of the planted suspension I can have, and I want to track this car, and I don't think there's a better track option besides spending, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 on dedicated valve track coilovers, which are going to be custom of some sort, no matter what I do. So that's kind of an overview. Discovering the speakers blown has led to doing a little car audio upgrade, and then we're going to try and sort out the airbag on the driver's side, and then I'll start planning out what to do as far as carpet and padding or whatever for the rear. But no more rear seats, and the roll cage is going to have to come out at some point, or at least be disassembled largely in order to do some of the other things I want to do. It's a work in progress, and normally I would just tear this thing apart. And when I got time and money to work on this project, it would become an ongoing thing. Now that the car is back together and I've been driving it, I'm trying to limit the amount of tear down time that the car is seeing. You know, this car is almost 19 years old. It spent a majority of its life on jack stands. It's a 05 with 67,000 miles on its third engine, if you consider the stock engine, and then, you know, multiple builds along the way. Now that I've got the Dark Horse and daily driving a track car, and I want to do some more competitive racing, I'm really getting into that. So this car is going to be primarily track car and aggressive street, Dark Horse, track car and daily driver, and then no more rear seats. Gonna have to pull the cage at some point here in the near future. I'm gonna probably wait and do the seats and the harnesses and do it then. And then let's see how the new car audio sounds. Never fails, always a project.